This movie is so exhilarating.
Wow.
Did you see it last night?
Yeah, we saw it last night at a
With-
sneak preview in Westwood. We saw it.
With real people.
Yes, absolutely.
Boy, what did they think?
We sat in the back. I was stunned. They went crazy for it. They were laughing and cheering and big applause at the end. And we came out of the theater, 10 feet off the ground.
Good. Oh, good.
Yeah.
Well, did you have any reasons besides just the role, which is wonderful, and the movie is so exciting? But did you have any other motivation for doing it in terms of just what it will mean
Well,
to people?
all the elements really interested me. Working with Ron Howard and then Bob Doman, the writer, and having the opportunity to work with Nicole Kidman again. Excuse me. And I felt the film is an optimistic movie, and I thought, God, this is a film that should be seen in the cinema.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be beautiful looking. These characters are really engaging, and I felt that it was a very, optimistic movie, and it didn't stray from that. It's not a cynic's movie, and I felt I want to make a movie like this at this point.
We need a movie like
Yeah,
this.
I wanted to see this movie personally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, and you got to do it too.
Yep.
On top of it, where are your ancestors from?
They're from Ireland, Germany, and France.
Did you go to any of your
My old haunts?
Your old
The old family haunts?
Literally.
No, we really didn't have time, because we were shooting 6 days a week, and my grandfather did a family tree, but it wasn't full. There's a lot of different areas, and, a few missing spots. But unfortunately, we didn't have a chance to do that. But we got to go to Ireland, which was enough. It was, majestic.
Was that your first time?
My first time.
But this is so gorgeous. It is. How much of it is the film itself, and how much of it is?
Well, I got to tell you, where we shot in Montana and in I was about to say Boston, but in Ireland, they were so beautiful to look at, even to the eye. And even in this film with this format, we couldn't show all the beauty. But in Montana, the sky, how big it was, we used that because that looks like Oklahoma the way it did at the turn of the century. And in Ireland, it was just gorgeous. Gorgeous.
It's green.
Yeah, I know. It is. It is. That's the way it looks, and you walk through there, and there is a sense of magic in the air and about the people.
I bet you think you're going to see leprechauns.
Oh yeah, you do. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Well, how is it different for you to do a love scene with someone that you don't know very well, or are perhaps falling in love with, or someone that you've been married to for a while?
I think it's easier, with someone that you're with, but there's a dynamic of, you're acting, and there's the characters, and the scene really dictates a lot of the emotion. But anytime you do a love scene with someone that you really, you're acting, everybody's really professional always, but it's certainly more easier with this.
Yeah, but I would think that when you're sort of falling in love, even though it's professional, it's not quite.
Well, what do you mean by that?
I mean, at the very beginning, there's something going on. I've been in plays where it's professional, you're doing the thing, but there's something happening, and it adds a little je ne sais quoi.
Well, I guess, for us, because these two characters are falling in love in the movie, and really the tension is built in, it has to start with the script. People talk about chemistry and whatnot, and you've got to get the people that are right for the roles. But really, if the scene doesn't work, as written, you're not, as actors you can do everything you can, but normally you can't rise above that. It's very difficult. So, I'm not going to say I didn't enjoy doing it with Nicole Kidman,
I'm so glad. Let me see. When you were a kid, do you remember a movie particularly that just sort of leapt out at you? And
I remember lots of movies. I loved movies as a kid. I went and saw. Actually, we were talking at lunch about Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. I remember it was read to me in first grade, and also Thomas Gibson, when the actor, we were talking about it at lunch. We were talking about movies, and Ron Howard, and that I remember seeing that movie and just being rapt by it and loving it. And as movies, I used to really want them to be real, You know, I'd go in and just, I like to be engulfed by the film. You know, Swiss Family Robinson, and I remember seeing Annie Hall and Spartacus, Lawrence of Arabia, and I always wanted to be those people, or live the life that they had and have the adventures that they had. You know, I wanted to be in that elevator flying over the city at the end of that movie.
And now you get to,
Yeah.
don't you?
Yeah, I sure do.
Okay.